The old hard body, the old simple turbo setup. Check it out, still simple, still working. We think, because I haven't driven this truck on the street in a while.
And still turbo.
And still turbo. Ooh, look at that. This is Ronnie's mom's car. Does anybody know a cooler mom?
And she has a Corvette.
Oh, and she has a C4 Corvette, which is super dope. Anyway, today we are replacing the motor mounts on the KA here. Here, hold this. Let me straighten this out. Bloop.
Dude, look at my water bottle. It's like crooked.
It's pretty weird.
Anyways.
Okay, so if you've been watching our videos, you'll know that we've had like a driveline problem in this for a while. It kind of vibrates when you get up to like 70 something. I had a new one-piece drive shaft made for it, and that's when it all started. But we've tried a bunch of different things. We tried angling like making the pinion angle a little more drastic. We've tried replacing the transmission mount. We tried replacing the rear shocks. Anything that would like dampen vibration throughout the driveline. We recently found that the motor mounts, at least one side is like completely torn through. So I'm thinking maybe,
we're hoping,
maybe the torque from the engine is causing it to kind of rattle, and maybe that's where the vibration's coming from. I don't know. I'm not a freaking car engineer. I'm not a rocket freaking surgeon. So we're just going to do this because it needs to be done, and then we're going to see if that helped. But we're not doing that just for that. We're just doing it because it needs to be done. Like, who wants a torn motor mount, right? So what we would used to do is we would jack the truck up in the front and get up under and take the mounts loose, and then we would get the old cherry picker here, and we'd lift the engine up and take the motor mounts out that way. But since we have a lift now, what we're doing is something a little bit easier. We just got the truck up in the air here. We're gonna do the same thing. Get to the motor mount right there. And it looks like just a bunch of 14mm bolts. This one is the one that I was worried about. It looked like, let me get another angle here. It looked like it was coming loose from the plate. Like right up here, it looks like it's come loose from the plate that it was attached to. So once we get them apart, we'll know. All right, the key word of the day is ratchet wrench, because that's what you need to get back up in here. I've got it got the truck kind of halfway up in the air, just because it's like right about like chest height, because I've got to reach back over in here, and the bolt that you've got to get to, like the center bolt, is like down in there. So if you can get a ratchet wrench like right in here and just like move it back and forth, that's really the way to go. And to make life easier, you could always just, cut your fender wells out like I did, which is pretty nice. Ronnie's has his completely cut out, which is ridiculous and looks weird, but it's really helpful, super helpful. The other one, you don't have to worry about getting to it because you don't have the intake manifold in the way. You can actually, when you get it back on the ground, you can actually get down in there. Like, I have a turbo in my way, but I can get down through there pretty easily. All right, so I had to call Ronnie in here because I'm a little fuzzy on the order of operations. Like, I'm trying to think about how I'm gonna get the mounts off and get the other ones on with the least amount of difficulty, and I think he's done this a good bit more than I have. So we're gonna talk to the master over here.
So,
Ron.
What I was telling Beau is the way you should do it is he has everything loose, and so we're gonna pick up the engine. These nuts are off. This is how it is in the truck, like this, right? This goes to the frame, this goes to the block. So we're gonna lift the engine up off this and then undo these and then hopefully slide these out. These studs are a little long sometimes, so they do make it a pain in the butt, but it's doable. But what I do, because I'm super lazy, is I bolt these in, and then I take one of the brackets off the motor and I cut a notch in it right here, put the other side on, tighten it up, and then this will just slip down on there. Then I put a giant washer over the top and get in there and tack the washer back onto the bracket.
Interesting.
and that holds it all in place. Yeah, don't do that. That's a terrible idea. Do it the way we're going to do it.
So how are we doing it?
You have this off. We're going to leave these in. We're going to pull the engine up so that it clears these studs.
Right.
And then we'll unbolt this, pull it out, and then we'll put these in, bolt them on just loosely, and then we'll lower the engine back down.
And try to line the bracket up
Yeah,
to the...
try to get this to line
mount.
up to the truck. We'll
Okay.
get everything lined up and then tighten it all down.
Wow, sounds fun.
Yeah, it's not too bad. So we made just one side.
So as we thought, check it out.
Hold on. I wasn't getting it.
So
That's the new
this,
motor mount.
yeah, this is the new and improved two-piece motor mount where it doesn't even have to secure the motor to the truck. So yeah, as we thought, it's just completely torn in half.
Can you guys see that? Let me get this to focus not on Beau's face. That's where it's been loose and it's been smacking. So this is like a lock. Let me get down here.
Do I need to put this? I guess I need to put this on the new thing right here,
Yes, if you want.
like that, I guess.
Anyway, show them that.
Show them what?
So when these fail, the reason this is curved and this is so that it's a lock. So even though it failed, it still can't rip the motor.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's pretty awesome that they made it that way. All right, so let's see if we can get the other one out. See if it's in one piece or if it's in two pieces.
All right. So we got that side on. Got this side on. How easy was this? Scale of 1 to 10.
Well, considering it's 2 nuts and 4 bolts, like, it's pretty difficult. Like, just because, I mean, just getting the mounts lined up so you could get the bolts started and whatnot was ridiculous. We had to bring the truck all the way down and tap with a hammer to get, like, it lined up just right so we could start one, and then we had to raise it back up so we could tap the other one to get it right so we could start the other one. It's pretty ridiculous, like, considering, like I said, it's 2 nuts and 4 bolts, but man, it was ridiculous. So we're getting it done. Now we're getting it done. Like, this is the easy part. Like, look how easy this is.
And Beau didn't even pick the truck up enough for him to actually stand up. What a weirdo.
Well, I was afraid I wouldn't be able to reach because I'm short and I have short arms.
I'm a T-Rex. Anyways,
So this should be like a 3, but it's probably more like a 7.
yeah, it's pretty difficult.
Just
Easily
getting
above a 5 for. But time, it doesn't take that long, even for as much of a. It's more just a pain in the ass than anything. It's not actually hard.
Right.
It's just difficult for no reason.
Now we're going to take it for a drive and see if it's any different.
Not.
I mean, we don't expect it to be different, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe some miracle by lifting it off the ground and putting it back down 100 times. Here's a ground that I never... Oh, by the way, when you do this side, you're working really close to your starter. So if you have your truck on the ground where the tires can catch traction, remove your battery cable. Disconnect your battery, because I realized that when I was like wrenching on this thing, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like really close to the starter and the battery. I'm like leaning over the starter and the battery at the same time. So it's like my wheels aren't on the ground, so the truck's not going anywhere. I mean, but if Ronnie's in the other side of the truck, like, a belt could catch his finger. The fan would be hilarious if it like hit him across the nose or something. But it'd probably be fairly painful. Whatever. I think I cross-threaded one of these bolts.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought you got them both started pretty decent.
I did, and then it cross-threaded. So I thought I had it started decent, but I didn't.
The real
But
one?
you know what? It's not coming out.
It's on there real good and tight.
Yep. Another problem we ran into because the truck is turboed and it has downpipe coming off the back of the turbo, 3-inch downpipe. When we were trying to tilt the motor this way to get this motor mount out, the downpipe was hitting the brake booster, so it wouldn't rotate enough. So we just disconnected the downpipe with the V-band clamp. Thing fell right out. Super easy. So look for that also. See what speed this thing starts vibrating at. I think it's still doing it. Yeah, it feels like it. At like it's still vibrating at about 50 miles an hour. All right, so we took it for a drive. You may or may not have heard me while I was driving. I was kind of talking, hoping that it would transfer to the camera, but it's still vibrating. I mean, we figured it would. We didn't figure it'd fix it, but I hoped with my heart of hearts. So, yeah, I don't really know what to do next. Maybe change the transmission out because the vibration's in the shifter and it's nowhere else. I get to about 50 and it just goes nuts. Get to about 60 and then the shifter's vibrating so hard that I can't hold on to it. So I don't know. I'm gonna drive it the next few days anyway. I can drive 50 around Sierra Vista. That'll be all right. I just want to drive it like super bad, so we'll see. Maybe I'll take it for a drifty or two. Post it up on our Instagram. Anyways, that's it. Later.